And welcome back, everyone. We are live for your HSEL Nationals Rainbow Six Siege Grand Finals. My name is Binks. I'm joined by the wonderful Joe. How are you doing today? We got a great finals, don't we?
Yeah, and I'm excited. I got to see Atascocita yesterday, and they looked quite good. It's high quality, and especially at the high school level, it's I'm not going to say shocking, but it's pretty awesome to see how far it's come. And I mean, it's a grand finals. It's the culmination of the hard work every single one of these players have put in this entire season, all down to this.
Yes, and of course, their competitors or their opponents being Hollins High School. Both these teams have a set roster, and every single one of those players has a role to play, and that is Rainbow Six Siege. That you need all wheels on this metaphorical bus to be spinning and doing their part and picking up slack for your other teammates while making sure they have a contribution. It is so amazing to see a group of high school students coming together and being able to pull off these amazing strategical feats in every single one of these rounds.
Yeah, and I think that was the big thing with Atascocita yesterday. I'm going to be talking more about them from what I've seen. I didn't get to see Hollins play, but Atascocita was mostly their teamwork and how well they were able to play off of each other. And, they had someone on the other team drop 22 kills, and they were still able to come away with that map. And if that doesn't tell you enough about their teamwork and chemistry as a squad, as a full five, I don't know what else, what more I could say.
Yeah, very fair to put it that way. And we can actually go and take a look at the rosters that we have for today. And if we look over at, we're going to start with Hollins High School, and I'll let you take over for the Eagles. We have Waffles, Pizza Towel, You're My Guy, Bananas, and Suzuki. And I'm really looking forward to seeing more from this Hollins roster. It seems like they have a lot going for them. They were 7-1 in the fall. And they lost to Garden City, fourth losing to Garden City, and 8-0 in the spring. I'm sorry, but not dropping a match. That is just very impressive. That's accounting for off days and all. And this is going to be the first time that these two teams face. So I'm really looking for Hollins to come out and not basically blow the Eagles out of the water or out of the sky in this scenario. But to have a very grounded and stable roster. That way they can play and adapt to their opponents.
Yeah, and the two teams I'm looking at, or two players, I should say, with Tascasita. Obviously, we have Shrimp, Obskeel, Flixer, Netgav, and Bad Karma. And Flixer and Shrimp are the two that I'm looking at. Shrimp, more of that support player, but reminds me a lot of Bride. It's a support player in a sense, but is good in the clutch situations, just not necessarily taking a dip in performance at all, and just helps out in every way, shape, or form. And Flixer, I mean, don't got to say too much, has absolutely huge fragging potential, kind of gets involved everywhere, and it makes up for a good matchup between these two teams.
And you're probably wondering, well, we know these teams, but the most important part of this matchup, this is going to be a best of five, everyone. And that means that we have a lot of maps that we're going to have to talk about. Our first of which being the pick of the Eagles, which is going to be Chalet, and the pick of Hollins going over to Border. Then we can continue down the line as we will be going to, I just want to make sure I'm getting it right. We're going to be going
Villa.
to Villa, Oregon, and then Skyscraper as our decider. So a pretty cool one to a cool range of maps that's really going to show how deep both these teams can go.
Yeah, we have the fun maps, the more aggressive attacker sided maps in the Chalet and Border. We have the mainstays, the old ones, the OGs, Villa and Oregon, and then Skyscraper, that newly reworked map, and pretty, for the most part, not standard in any way, shape, or form as we do head into Chalet. And I'm excited to see this for the most part. I think we get to see how these teams are attacking because in the matchup yesterday, we saw on a map like Bank it be defender sided, which is not how it goes at all. So I think whatever team can really figure out their attacks here, and I think whoever figures out their attacks is going to win the map, but I think that's how we'll know how the complexion of the rest of the series will end up going.
My biggest thing I'm going to preach for, and we'll get to it once we get in, is going to be time management. And by banning out someone like Jackal, time management is going to be very, very key because that means you're going to have to focus a lot more on your droning rather than using that iNox scanner. And same with Flores, where you're able to gather information with his drones or his RC Roteros. Those are both operators that are off the board. I would not be surprised if we see there's the Mira and even letting the Kaid slip through and going for a Valkyrie ban. As on a map like Shelly, you don't want to have information constantly going the way of your opponents or a way of the defending or attacking side. So interesting to see how this is going to work out. And wow, I was able to guess my bands. That's a really big pat in the back for myself. But does anything about these bands just scream anything to you?
Jackal. To me, there's no point. I think there's many better bands on this map, but if that's what they want to do, if that's kind of, for instance, more roam setups that they want to do, that's fine. But I mean, with this map, I mean, besides the basement, there's no real value that the Jackal really provides, because a lot of these sites, for instance, bar, for instance, kitchen, you're not really extending too far off from that part of the map. And even then, that information isn't too valuable. So I think that was an interesting one for the most part. But the Flores band, the Mirror band, and the Valk band, all pretty good bands for the most part. It's at least the way that I'm seeing it.
I think that's a very good way to go about it. And you know what? I'm not complaining about it, but we have a first floor site. I've always been a fan of going top floor or bottom floor first, just so you get a feel of the complete commotion. But what I really like about Chalet is your ability to extend. This is the fight of the proxy wars that will decide the entire round. So I want to see how that's going to affect the momentum going forward.
5 seconds.
Yeah, and I think something to note as well is there is an Azami on the board who is specifically good on this site, and you have a Solus. Neither of which are being brought, but it's a potential for later on, as we do see
Attackers have located a bomb.
And Yang can make for some exciting plays, especially on a direct attack such as this, such a direct site. And you have the Lamai and the Jaeger to kind of counter that out. The main thing, though, is you don't have a mute, and the mute can actually be pretty good with the Yings, because it can kind of mute them out, make sure they don't detonate, and just make sure it limits the damage a little bit, as we do see the Wamai holding in that dark position. Gonna try and make it at least difficult for these Hollins players to actually clear him out. Try and waste some time to make sure that they're not taking library with ease. Make their jobs difficult.
With the first of our proxy wars already taking place upstairs. Bananas on the Thatcher. Their biggest role here is they need to get an impact to try to frag out. They'll spot out the Frost of Sikyo. And this is the exact type of proxy I was talking about. You're going to have people closing in from every single direction, but the important part as a defender is to get your pick and to open up flaws. A hole, as per se, as Bad Karma will come spinning around the dining hallway. Waffles with the refrag. They're going to get two for another refrag from both the Jaeger and the Frost of Obscure. Bad Karma with a 2K. This evenings out to 2v2. Waffle still upstairs. There's going to be another trade, both with different sort of gunfights. Great trade game, but it's going to be the Frost Mat to win it out from the grave. A very big trade game, all happening from what seems on the second floor.
Oh, it's so agonizing. You saw it too, right when he hopped in. You saw he wasn't going to check it in a couple seconds early, but I mean, a big play from Bad Karma to really... I'm not sure how the sledge really got through over to that curve hall, to that dining hall, but at least was able to trade it out and win a huge 1v1 on that front door. And that pick alone, I think, was what really shifted the round back to Atascocita. Obviously, Obscure had to win a couple of big 1v1s upstairs, but I think that gunfight on the front door is really what opened up the round and the opportunity for Atascocita to bring that one back. So now going towards Master, and I kind of said this earlier, I don't think this is the best of sites on this map, but I think if you hold it correctly, it can be pretty difficult to hold. You have the Ying, which can provide for, once again, a pretty aggressive way to take the map and execute. But if the control is given up from Atascocita, I think that's kind of the win condition. They have the Warden to be able to deal with that Ying, but with a site like Master, with how little control you need of the site, if they get library or they get solar control, to me, this round is as good as over.
5 seconds to insertion.
I see what you're saying there. I'm interested to see how we could have extension. So we have Nakav going for a little bit of a cheeky spawn peek and a catch ahead. Not falling off. This is a very scary thing to see. As you keep having that head poke up, the longer you stay there, the more exposed you're going to feel, the more your opponent has time to rotate. But nevertheless, I always like to see these aggressive plays early in the round because it sets the tone. And me, as an attacker, I see a spawn peak. I want to play scared for the first little 30 seconds. And when I'm still warming up, if I had just lost a round, those are the type of things that are in the back of my mind.
I don't think you could have said setting the tone any better, and maybe not netting a kill, but the rest of the game, they're going to have to sit there and be worried about that kind of peak throughout the rest of the game, that aggression. So I like it early on in the game. Kind of sets a precedent that Hollins has to recognize that, hey, they could be peaking at any point. They can't be caught off guard for any portion of it, really. And they're trying to take this library side, and Knockout being the only form of resistance really on this side of the map, but they're struggling to even get in as 1 minute and 15 seconds in this round has passed by, and they have yet to really do anything thus far.
So this is where the gunfights are going to be very pivotal. You win one, you could break a hole in the defense, but that defensive pick could create a flaw, take out that pivotal utility that you need to be using. And there's the opening frag onto the roamer, bad karma. They were playing by library side, and that could allow a lot to fall. But there's Flixer with the free frag onto my guy. And I believe that was through the floor, possibly the SMG-11. Great frag. This is surely going to open things up. This long-range gunfight, hiding behind the shield, is going to be Shrimp. Now, the problem with those barricades is you can't throw any toxic canisters right through it. You're going to have to wait. And as all these windows are being covered, trying to pressure down onto the remaining defenders, get them to rotate into a position where they're vulnerable. It's going to be Hollins High School that has to make this play, has to reposition these defenders. And that hasn't happened thus far. Nakav now able to collect a frag onto the Selma breaching hard breach of Suzuki. This is crazy because they have no ability to create further holes into sight. Another kill, a triple from Nakav, followed up from Shrimp, and a complete masterclass of exactly how you want to hold this master bedroom by not allowing your opponents to feel any sort of comfort within the map.
Not a single soul was Ivy Hall either to play that piano double door to provide any sort of pressure alongside the Ying onto piano. You got to clear out piano with the way that hold was. The shield, they never went for it, and because of that, they were able to play around it, and just they took the control of the library side, but struggled to really have the idea of what to do after. And Atascocita took every advantage after that. You know, they won all their gunfights. They did what they needed to do, played their lives quite well, played their utilities with the smokes, and because that made that site and denied any entry into that site.
Not going down to what could possibly be considered a tertiary bomb site, but it hasn't felt that way, at least with the way it had Atascocita, the Eagles, covering this site and covering the map. They haven't used the basement, but I think the biggest thing we have to worry about is going to be the verticality. I'm sure you're familiar with the fuse plays that have become so clear on this site. How do you see them coming into play with Hollins High School's attack?
5 seconds to
I just think Hollins are just a little slow. The pacing is not quite there, and we said it earlier with the Atascocita, we liked the extension, and I think if they continue to extend, it's going to provide Hollins problems. Hollins has had issues with clearing the map effectively, and especially on a site like this with how much area you do need to take. It can make it difficult. However, the main issue is that they aren't extending in any way, shape, or form, and Hollins is going for this clear anyways, which may be their downfall, potentially. But at the end of the day, that extension isn't there, so I do like that from Hollins, and it's already, an advantage in this round.
They were set for the run out. I like everything that I've seen from Hollins thus far in the round. Prioritizing getting garage open is not the biggest thing for me. That can come later in the round, but good to make sure that you have the utilities set. The biggest thing I need to see was the fuse getting into position, but a great read from Shrimp is they're going to collect the opening frag for the round, and that sets up your defending Eagles for a great hold. There's nowhere to clear the roam, although these players still need to get back to site. Hollins High School has once again been unable to make their way in, and this has come from a lack of a drone game. But there's the refrag, still from the exterior side of the building. That's going to be your late refrag. And as Bad Karma playing inside of snow is going to be taking a hefty amount of damage. They're stuck behind Snowmobile, and the rotate will definitely be the right call. And it's going to come down to the refrag roam game from Hollins High School's Flixer collects another frag. You have to make sure you know where your remaining opponents are. You can't wait for them to come to you, because the Eagles have demonstrated once again that they have the ability to rotate around the map. And very good and a very aware frag from the Dokkaebi Waffles to be able to make it right back down towards pressure in the basement. Now the remaining players all the way back inside of Wine Cellar are going to have to extend out to blue, try to hold. The moment Hollins High School gets their plant down, they could turn the map round entirely on its head. But it all comes down to who makes first contact.
Yeah, and that player actually getting inside of blue is going to be huge as long as they don't lose control of blue over here. And that bomb still does need to go down, and a couple of C4s still to work with and have an impact as well. Plus the zombie barricades, and that actually gonna work his way right into the site. Not able to hit the shots, does end up connecting, and now puts himself in a very difficult spot as Waffles now working the backside. Not sure if they're gonna know he's there as Bananas wins a big one, finds the first kill, and now Waffles goes through. There's a Malusi that is going to make sure that his position is known, and as that time is ticking down, the crossfire is there. Not going to be able to find the kill, and Atascocita, maybe the closest round that they've had, but still a 3-0 defensive lead on their map pick of Chalet.
I think we can very clearly see why they went for Chalet. These defensive setups have clearly been made to allow for them to rotate back and hold sight, to have multiple lines. And I talked about Chalet being a map full of proxy wars, and I think that is exactly why. Because you have all these different parts you can have conflicts with your opponents, but their ability to rotate back and have the support when they rotate back is what allows this roster, this Eagles team, to consistently come out on top. If you're the players of Hollins, you need to be able to get vertical.
Need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
And with that verticality, that's how you want to close it off. I didn't see nearly enough, and yes, there was picks coming out, but even using that DMR to spray and make them feel pressured from up above is very pivotal for a basement attack. And a lot can be said that it is very similar, and you need to watch out for the verticality on this bar site, because you can have a plant inside a bar or even inside of games and hold from up above. Lots to be discovered by Hollins.
Yeah, I think you're definitely right with the vertical play. And
10 seconds left.
I think the main thing, and I think you can sum it up in short from what's happened every single round, they're taking a lot of time to get their control, which is a problem, but I don't think that's the problem. More so, they're not doing enough with the control that they do end up finding. They've gotten control of library, they had the control of the front side and the upstairs, they had their flanks covered. Everything was there. They just didn't open the right things. They didn't put bodies in the right places for that execute. That end product is that opening kill, and that is a big one for Waffles on that Capitao to get. And there is a player inside of Dark in the library. That Capitao could provide for some good usage, and we'll see how they decide to use it, but that's the opening pick. And we'll see the control they can get. But Shrimp, it doesn't even matter who the one on the Jaeger is. It has now been 3 different players, but they all just find the opening picks. They're just working early on. The Jaeger, always.
The Jaeger has the ability to play a lot of different styles, and that style will change with every single player, showing a lot of versatility within the Eagles roster. But I also want to talk about that Capitao pick, taking out the Wamai. This allows Capitao to have a lot more freedom with his bolts, as any Jaeger ADS will not be able to capture them. We need to completely diagnose this Eagles defense, because they're holding the cross up top, but they're going to have to quickly dispatch. You're going to have the smoke dart trying to close out Shrimp. The spray will come out. Flicks are taking a hefty amount of damage down on the first floor. Pizza next to go down on the side of Hollins High School. The E1D will cook out. Toxic canister. Lots of early utility usage as Nakat will confirm the kill onto the Ying of Pizza. And as a double kill erupts, Flickster will snap back with Suzuki. And now all the way from Piano, Just a spray, trying to find any sort of opening frag. It's you or my guy. They need to find any opening. A single 1v1 caught by my puck. Spraying around towards library, not able to find a single sliver of damage. What do you play with? Are you going to play for deception, play for the fake rotate, catch your opponent off guard? How do you move this team around? Case is not in the possession of Guy and not able to line the shots onto Frost. You have one player who's extremely lit. It's only going to take one gun. Spray sees the first head, not able to line up. Barricade will be reactivated, one of the most pesky and annoying parts. But there's the best part about Siege. Rotates can be made mid-round. And you're going to have the Eagles win a 4th consecutive round as Hollins struggles to get a grip.
Just not, again, it's the same story. They're not doing enough with the control that they are getting, and unfortunately it's starting to really add up as this is their attack split, and it may not be their map pick, but they're on the better side on this map, and they've just really struggled to make any of these rounds super close. And it's not like it's gotten down to a 1v1 or a 2v2. It's kind of been late round dominance by Atascocita, and a pretty dominant showing so far on this first map, but they have to be able to maintain it. I mean, we've said it is a best of 5.
Attackers
they really
need to locate
have
and
to
defuse
have
bombs.
that endurance and mental fortitude to be able to continue this across multiple maps.
Very good point.
Camera in place. Deploying ADS.
Moving on to our next round. I like the pick of the Mozzie from NatGav. I think that's going to be great for denying information even more. And I can see the players on the Eagles being very quick to check those drones. There's a very big impact on wanting to deny information in this round. And even taking the Aruni is going
10 seconds
to
left.
force that maybe drones are going to be used onto that. And oh my god, just playing within the shadows and able to narrowly avoid the Mozzie.
Attackers' objective is to defuse the
Anything
bomb.
standing out within this round besides the fact that this is nearly a must-win for Hollins?
Maybe bringing the knock. I think at least playing around the information that is there. If they're going to play a lurker, have someone who can really do it effectively, and I think that might be one thing. But I'm not a fan necessarily of the Glass playing so
Attackers drop
deep.
the
I think
diffuser.
it is a good
Attackers
position to
recover
be able
the
to
diffuser.
work a pick, obviously, but I think the main issue with that is you're not really that close to your team to be able to help out with the clear, which is really, for the most part, where this team has struggled this in the end product. And there it is, an extra pick on that knock. The lurk really coming to good use. And Waffles, again, finding that opening pick, but story of the match, can they do something with it?
Well, let's look at a route. Let's look at the steps that have to be followed. You still have 2 more roamers that are on the bottom floor, both very aware of this knock. And I think that the best thing they can do is Waffles need to be droning for their team, which they were currently doing. And it needs to be the 4 other players making an impact so Waffles doesn't have to push up those stairs. That is way too early. I know it's a minute 50. You know there's going to be roaming defenders. You need to play that Waffles can find and create another hole. They can't have these defenders. We have all this room to focus our attention, and that is going to be a big difference maker.
It for sure is, but NetGav taking the man advantage. They're ripping it right on back, and Hollins just struggling to be able to keep it. As the Glaz now in a place to help, but NetGav finding another, his 3rd on the round, perhaps on the ace, and Hollins just struggling to find answers as Atascocita is just running circles around them and just finding every single kill, every single 1v1 that they can find.
Come on, let's be honest. The SMG-11 is still as satisfying as ever to be able to see. Just
Oh, you don't got to tell me that.
Oh my goodness! I'm sorry. I have gotten a few good ones over the past few days, but that kill cam just hit a little bit different with just the control. It just when those SMG-11 headshots hit, it's a good day. It's a good day. Unless you are on the side of Hollins High School, in which the slippery slopes of Chalet seem to have toppled this roster. And
Attackers need
what
to
I need to
locate
see,
and
Joe,
defuse as many bombs as
is perhaps this is just very much not their map. roll those shoulders, please. Go for something fun on this round. If you know you're gonna blow a half, go 5-1. You need to try something very different. You need to do something that will either warm up your aim, give some life to your roster, and that comes down to your IGL. And there's a lot of different styles, and you can already see which one my is, but you need to get that motivation. You have to play towards your team's confidence and have the memory of a goldfish when it comes to these rounds. Remember the good things that you did. Remember how your opponent plays, but you don't need to remember the specifics, because specifics will give you a headache.
Yeah, and it's... I don't know. I struggle to not be redundant. I try my best to not be redundant, but they're also bringing out Kitchen, and what I do like about this is now we've seen all 4 sites, and that shows that Atascocita are very, very comfortable on this map. So it may not be Hollins necessarily being the worst team, but on this map at least, the preparation perhaps is not there for Hollins. They weren't as ready for this map as Bad Karma finds the opening kill onto You're My Guy on the sledge on the lurk, which may just be a desperate attempt to try and find that opening pick once again.
What I'd like to see is a lot more pressure between these two teams. So Waffle is getting ready to push in, starting to assault through snow. But the biggest thing, you need to have the ability to follow up on that information. Waffle is now falling once again to Bad Karma, who's just lurking on this bottom floor. You have drones upstairs. Those drones should be down below helping drone them in. Their phones should be ringing and making great use of those mute jammers, being able to go for a quick denial of the phone. Natgav stuck upstairs 10-2, 5.0 KD, trying to find something. Shrimp to find the headshot onto Pizza. You're on the cusp of a flawless round. Misses IQ can find the headshot. They will. Great shot from Bananas. Trying to grab this one right back. Suzuki from up above. No, it's not going to be that. Bad Karma from the stairs. And it's going to ring right on around. We're going to get to see it again. What a beautiful replay. Bad Karma once again.
Nice. Nice. It was a replay. Love that. Loved every second of that, but
we gotta see it twice. So that's can we just take in that's a flawless half.
On
that
the
is so
worst
dominant.
Statistical side.
We can even take that moment. We got a beautiful replay of Natgav, but just to even break it down further, Natgav's ability to rotate every single one of those kills, aside from the last 2, all came from their ability to rotate around that basement floor and not be cleared out. And even then, that lack of clearing out, that lurking horrible thought, that's my procrastination every single time I have a project due, is just going to creep up from those back fireplace stairs and just deny any hope. That was horrifying.
Bomb located by attackers.
Cav, You're My Guy, really wanting to find this one out, wanting to change the game maybe a little bit. And look at that! Oh, we've got a lot of operators you don't normally see. Lot of, at least on this map.
Amaru?
Amaru's not the worst thing in the world.
No, that lineup really just breathes rush and deny a rotate back. So if there's a roam, that Gridlock's gonna cover it. I like it. I very much do.
Objective is to defuse a bomb.
I want to see this Cav because I don't care about my neighbors. They're gonna have to deal with me yelling interrogation if that's what we get to see. But very interesting, I think, is how I'm gonna put it.
Mounting rifle shoot.
Just trust the process. See the vision. Interesting BP.
Changing mag.
I gotta see it. Can he be aquatic on the map? I honestly just think with the observer, if you just leave it there, just leave it on the Cav the whole round.
Can we get a Cav commentary? Special HSEL Cav commentary. You're my guy, the one that I want to watch. Rain down. Honestly, Natgav going for a great clear up above. This is bringing out from every single part, and we're going to turn over to the Cav. And here's where the Gridlock comes in. You have to contend with it. Upskill is going to be able to find a purple frag onto the zombie. That's going to open up sight a lot more. Down goes Pizza to Bad Karma as the assault is well underway. Waffles trying to spray out, dealing with Flixer. Double kill for Bad Karma. Down goes Waffles, and now all left up to the lonesome Caviera, looking for one, not able to find it, and a flawless round to a flawless match as the Eagles go up 7-0 on their map pick.
Well, they looked quite comfortable on that. They did. I don't know. Is there how much I can.
Factor HSEL Rainbow Six Siege Nationals Finals. And we're right into our second map of Border, and Atascocita is going to be starting on the defense, which means that they get to ban the first attacker. Last up, we saw a Jackal, Flores, Valkyrie mirror ban, and I expect that we're going to see something a little bit different with Osa being our first ban. Now, last time I did the predicting, Joe, my friend, this is all up to you. Let's see how good you are with the odds.
Well, if it's Hollins, I feel like it has to be Jackal, right? They did it on Chalet. I feel like that's like safe, right?
I don't see a Jackal here. I feel like we might
What do
get
you
a hard
think?
breach.
Oh!
All right. Let me just walk away for a second. Joe, you carry on. I'm
Valk.
just
Valk? No. Yeah, no. Valk. Valk will be off in one of these two, but I'm thinking Valk here. I don't think Asami or Solus, right? I think it's going to be another Valk mirror, but I think this one's Valk. Give it to me. Oh! How am I supposed to guess that?
Yeah. You're wrong. My turn.
It's-
All right. Valk,
It's gotta be Valk,
done.
yeah? Right, it's going to be Valk. What?
Oh, we're horrible. No.
Whoa. I went 1
All
for
right.
2. You went 0 for 1. Like, let's. Actually, 0 for 2.
Yeah, I went over 2 on that last one.
So I won.
I'm going to call for a substitution. Get unnamed in here. He's going to be commentating and observing. He has more insight that. I digress. We can actually look at this map now that we actually see these bans. It's going to be a funky matchup, very much so. But so far, the operator picks are very basic, and you might say, well, those are all operators you can go without. I don't know if there's any target bans. I don't really remember seeing a Capcan too clearly in the first matchup, but this could be completely different with Border. So
I think that's a target ban. Because
How?
yesterday in our game that we cashed against,
Attackers need to
that
locate and
Atascocita was
defuse
involved in, Capcan was banned on both maps.
it could be for the gun. I'm not too sure, and I guess we're gonna have to see. But there's a lot of ways to work around not having a Capcan.
The bomb located by attackers.
Which means you have to detonate this trap and it's going to be fired instead of a fun little entry denial device. But a very open concept, and yes, I do like it. I like the extension that we are
5 seconds
seeing.
left.
It's going to be a matter of how well Hollins are going to be able
Attackers are moving
to
to defuse the
dismantle
bomb.
any sort of extension into sight.
You have to extend it. I like it. I find it only odd that I don't see anyone in it close to me quite yet. I lied. Look at them go. Straight as I say it. Straight as I say it. Power. The power I hold as a caster. I didn't know how much I would really have at my disposal before I started. Caster first, I can assure all of you, is a real thing. And seeing this, I think Atascocita starting on the defense once again is a big deal. We'll see them really kind of, I think, get into the similar groove if they can win these opening couple rounds, get that confidence, because this is a very gunfight heavy map, more than Chalet is, because Chalet can at least be a little more structured with the angles that you play. This one's more you have to take straight 1v1 gunfights. Now our last map, Atascocita, was winning most of those 1v1s, so I think if Hollins can win these couple first rounds, it'll be like, all right guys, we can do this. But if not, we're going to have another situation like the last map, and Flixer maybe having an opportunity to find the second, but wisely backs on down, taking his opening pick on the round, and the opening pick on the map.
A lot of options going forward with the round. Hollins is not out of it just yet. You may have lost your sledge, and that makes your castle barricades that much stronger. You have those can openers on the side of the end. You can melee it out if you need, and that's a good refrag, but that's a double run out from Karma. And that's going to be a huge refrag. Don't worry, Waffles is there to keep the Royals in the round, but it's going to be through the destruction of the map. The Natgav collects onto their first kill. C4 cooked out, trying to find Pizza, and that's going to cook him right through to a crisp. And that's going to be the Eagles taking the first round. I guess you can call that one oven baked.
I wish you didn't say that. I wish I talked sooner.
I
wish I talked. I gave you way too much time to cook up a little bit right there. But similar story to map one, right? I mean, that entry battle kind of going their way, and on border and entry is a big deal. But at the end of the day, this map is just gunfight heavy. And Hollins, I don't even think outside of Waffles, they got inside the map. Runouts were basically just the story of that.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's how border works sometimes, and I'd like to see maybe a nomad if possible, be able to make sure that that they can't make those runouts as easy and really assert themselves getting inside the map. But other than that, I mean, Hollins just need to get those guns hot. It kind of comes down to that, right? It's really the deciding factor in this. They're just not winning their fights. And Atascocita taking full advantage of that, knowing that their guns are hot and taking the fights that maybe are more of the 50-50 gunfights, but when your guns are shooting like this, it's not so 50-50, is it?
Not very much. So, Rainbow Six Siege is a game where you can have completely even gunfights, but the entire point of the game is to use your skills and use your ability in the round to favor those gunfights towards you, and there's always a little sliver of chance, but what you want to do is eliminate that chance. That's something that Bad Karma's doing here. These little cheeky runouts. That's why you need a pre-placed drone, because you allow them to do that, it's going to hurt you a lot, but by holding an angle like that and you know how to pre-fire, turns an entire round on its head.
Line coming out early. Getting that early information, and Bad Karma once again on this Jaeger. Doesn't matter, it's the same thing, right? The Jaeger always getting aggressive, and the information game for Hollins is there very clearly, and a good thing for them. It's something that they haven't quite had quite yet, but Bad Karma going for the run out, but is unaware of Waffle's repositioning, and that is the information game at its best work. And I think that's Hollins really has to be it. They may not be winning the 1v1s, but if they're making these gunfights not necessarily 50-50 with the information that they're receiving, that could be the major turning point and the advantage that they need to get back into the series.
Torch is ready.
Very well said, in that we're actually seeing that Waffles is being droned in. This top floor coverage entirely came from the players of Hollins High School working together and talking. Whether this is a round boss or not, I can rest easy knowing that this has been a great improvement as Waffles collects a second kill on the round, forcing the rotate back from Shrimp towards site. Need being cooked down, almost catching a little bit of Shrimp. This is a great round thus far for the Royals as they fight to collect their first. Spraying out these amplified scopes could be exactly what they need. They have to put the angles properly. Drone going out. Shrimp spotted inside of metal detectors. They're going to have to rotate back. Great use of the second dope recall. Spraying towards the shield. You need to have some explosive utility to deal with it. Great positioning from Natgav. You have pressure from above. You have to use it in this scenario. Continue to spray. These splits are doing exactly what they need. The ADS is set up. With 40 seconds to go, you know this team is itching to have a push. Flixer to finally collect onto Suzuki. They've done their job as a lion plant being attempted by Bananas. Call is there, needs to rotate, looking for it. Milliseconds to go, plant successful. Thatcher still alive and fighting. Shrimp pushes up from metal. He's gonna be able to collect onto Pizza. Now into a 3v3. Push in from the Frost. It's a trade game. Flixer to find one. Flixer to find three on the round. Now moving towards Case. Being attempted, swing around, not even able to grab it, down goes Waffles, and Atascocita Eagles collect a second round, and their ninth consecutive round in this game. But with that being said, a valiant effort from the Royals.
What a retake from Atascocita, and I mean, with the hatch, you have to not peek, you have to play the time. It's all you got to do. The case is down. The time is on your side, and giving them the opportunities to find those kills and get themselves back into the round. It's not what you want to see in Hollins. That was their opportunity to really get themselves back into the game. And at that point, you got to consider right now where their heads are at, just getting 7-0'd in a round that they had a 5v3 post plant. And this is really the test to their mental fortitude if they can come back from that. But that's not a good round to lose.
Not at all. That one's a very hard one, and I really want to highlight that we saw a lot of really good things from
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
the Royals. They were really good at clearing out that top floor. They had the man advantage. The one thing I would have liked to see is, once again, maybe that Nomad or something to allow you to continue holding that hatch down to showers more comfortably. Perhaps even opening up the window inside of going into tellers from the exterior window. By opening that up, you're going to put a lot more pressure onto your opponents, and when I say loosely hanging it, forcing a jump out, and if you have that Nomad, then once again you can hold that with a Nomad air jab, catching them for a free kill. You can also swing around and hold your case. So win-win there, but we're not even going to be going back to tellers. We're now in construction and vents. Any insight into what the Holland High Royals are going to have to do for this round?
Finish out the round. They've struggled to close out rounds in both maps now. It hasn't been the beginning of the round. There's so many times where we're sitting there when there's about a minute left, 30 seconds left. And for example, that last round when the bomb was down for the first time all game, and it's like all right, they're in the position. Can they close it out? Can they do it? That's it. That's all it was. And if they can just figure out maybe the timings of the end of the round, maybe realizing don't worry about it. Maybe figuring out really what's going on at the end of the round, making sure that they're not taking silly fights, giving up their bodies while they have that man advantage, because they're just not, it may not be over aggression, it's just silly fights. You're not taking fights that are traded, they're not playing together very well towards the end of rounds, and when it comes down to that, you just got to be playing well together. And in this case, not necessarily happening, and it's just the last minute for me, the final third.
Well, if anything's happened, Hollins has been on a ramp up with every round, correcting their mistakes, and this could be the accumulation. C4 from down below. I don't know, the Finka boost is what saved the buck there, but they were able to nearly survive with their life. Sledge getting ready, and now this is the thing. You have the IQ, you need to spot out these Valkyrie cameras, and luckily the dopamine call will force them to not be able to hear it. The Alda spray from down below. It's going to be Natgap instead to collect on the kills, looking for a second one. But there is a fight back from the Royals as they'll collect two. Down goes Bad Karma as well as Flixer, evenings out to a 3v3. The spraying Alda from Shrimp down below is still alive, as Suzuki is now going to be going and attempting to plant. Great job hiding from that evil eye. It will be a successful plant. Now we're down to that final 40 seconds in the round. Shrimp to find one. But there's a refrag from Banana, 2v2. They're in good position. Pizza running all the way on top of Bus. This is going to be an amazing angle to use. But here's Natgap running out from above. A triple kill for Natgap, all from the run out. They know where they're looked. They're staying right outside, spraying for it. This is your round, Holland. What a quad kill flick from Natgap. 15 seconds to go. A free defuse. Why did you shoot? What is going on?
Defenders have disabled the bomb. Bomb defusing attempt failed. Defenders win.
What a shot. At this point, they're finding new ways to lose.
Not new ways to lose. That's not a new way to lose. Yes, you can hold your shots. They are one shot away. The movement is sporadic, to say the least. But Natgap, that might be one of the best shots I've seen in my entire life, and I'm going to turn a lot of my attention to Natgap because that was such a crazy shot, playing in enemy territory. My friend, I get this man an aim lab skin.
I need one. He might need one, a perfect shot. Perfect.
Attackers need to locate.
Really, in Hollins, it's once again the opportunity. That is practically an unwinnable post plant, one of the hardest post plants in the game to win. I guess retake would be the better word.
Yeah.
That's one of the hardest ones
Bomb
to
located by
win
attackers.
as the defenders, besides maybe the one big window on Oregon. You know, you play right on the window and you play on the small tower roof, but it's just, again, and they're on their attacks, the better sides, and Atascocita just really finding, I guess, new ways to win. And they're doing
10 seconds
just
to go.
that in 3 rounds on your defense. On a map, you know, the disadvantageous sides on a map that is not your pick, this is already a success.
Attackers are heading out to defuse a bomb.
Going on to our 4th round on this border site, or border map. Still no Nomad for these runouts being selected because, once again, that Nomad would have changed the course of the round. So, tough to see that it's not there, and I like that Bad Karma's playing around the castle. It's a fun little thing to see. Droned out. Waffles getting ready to go for their assault. I like that Waffles didn't get too antsy trying to go for the push. They're now going to go and try to pressure towards the Jaeger spray out. Adrenaline boost is going to assist them as Bad Karma will take the major force of that damage in that gunfight. Now contending with Shrimp behind the shield. They've been devastating with that SMG-11. Can they make it for one more round?
And the time, once again, is not favoring Hollins right now. It is a small map border. You don't need too much control as Flixer now goes down. It's Waffles again, and no matter what role he's on, mostly on this support, is the one finding these entry kills. But Flixer hasn't been the one who's really been the person for them. It's been Nat Gav, and has really been finding him. He was the one who came in so big last round. And Bananas finding the kill, and again they're in a 5v3, but Bad Karma finding another kill, looking for the second but not able to hit the shot. Suzuki barely escaping with his life as Bad Karma now gonna try and make the play, and Bananas is aware of it, finds the kill of 4v2, and if there's any round they can win, it's gotta be this one, right?
The swing around from Nightgav is going to try to find one. Bananas taking a lot of damage. Not going to fall. Down goes your top frag of Nightgav. All left up to the single sliver of HP. And there it is. Hollins High Royals are going to take their first round in the series of camaraderie and playing for the rotate. Well done. And it seems like we might have a match.
On the board. That's a good attack, though. And I think that is what shows the difference of them being able to close it out and not being able to close it out, because they've put themselves in positions like that now on 3 out of 4 of the rounds on border. This could easily be 3-1 Hollins, and Atascocita have just been winning the fights, been maybe bailing themselves out, and also Hollins kind of giving them the opportunities to bail themselves out, but it's a good one. They finally put themselves on the board, and then it's got to feel good. And it really goes to show their, I guess, once again,
Defenders,
the mental
protect your bombs
fortitude,
from being
because
defused by
that
attackers.
was just a great job from them. They're able to close it out, put themselves on the board, and still find themselves in this game. The damage was not too much. This is only map 2 in a best of 5. They're only down 3-1, and this is their map pick, and I am sure on their defense they will be comfortable as well.
Very good point. As we kick down to our second last round, we're going to see Waffles switch on to the Nomad. Making me happy. I'm not going to lie, that Nomad is definitely going to be making a big impact on the round, and we're going to see exactly what happens with it. So let's sit back, relax, and see what Hollins High has cooking for this round. Is they've been ramping up. And yes, the Eagles have been doing great, but I can't help but root for the Royals, as they have slowly but surely been mounting up, making improvements in every single round, and they've been hit with some hard rounds, to say the least, but it could always make a difference. But Bad Karma's gonna be able to get the opening frag, going for the double run out. But who's that? That's Suzuki, ready to shut them right down, and that opening frag turns into an even gunfight. You lose your IQ, you might lose a drone, but you also lose, for the Eagles, you lose a big extension in the map.
Swapping mags!
Maybe going for a pick you didn't necessarily need to go for right there, but hey, that's a quick play. Waffles,
Wow!
walking straight on in, but accidentally gets on the cam, and Fixer flying too because of it. Gets instantly traded out, but that is a tragedy, and Suzuki is stepping up big into this round, but we find ourselves in our first real clutch situation here, even man count right now, and we'll see who is really going to come out on top, because right here, Binks, this is a big swing round. I think whoever can really come out on top in this round has a huge advantage throughout the rest of this match.
Absolutely taken away. There's a shot from your defending Upskill. Looking for a second one. Case has been dropped. You have the adrenal boost. You have to isolate this 1v1. A triple kill for Suzuki. He's hitting the shift key. He's sprinting, not able to find it. And not able to res himself. It's going to be Shrimp to win that one out. Unfortunate. You're in that 1v1. Time is not of the essence right there. You got to be aware that they know your positioning. Slow it down. Take your finger. Take your shift key. Throw it out the door because you don't want it in that scenario. You need to play slow, methodical, and that is why the Eagles will take that one 4-1. Don't count them out. You get a 4-2 split on that attacking side. Hollins might have a very good defense. This is their map pick, and they are finally, slowly starting to show it.
Yeah, but they need to get this one a 5-1 defense split from a team that's not their map pick. Your defenses can be great, but that is a really tough hole to really dig yourself out of. And Hollins obviously has the ability to do it. We've seen it in numerous occasions. It's just so many close rounds are just not going their way, whether that's their own doing, whether it's just unfortunate, or whether it's just Atascocita just showing out. And no matter what that is, it's just everything's going against them right now. And it's unfortunate, but it ends up adding up to a point. And you don't want to find yourself down 2-0, going to another team's map pick in a best of 5 and an opportunity to close it out. And they're in these grand finals for a reason. They've made it this far for a reason, but
10 seconds remaining.
hopefully it's not a too little too late situation, because it's almost getting to that point where they're taking too long to really get themselves into this game and get themselves warmed up and find the rhythm, and they just have to find it now, sooner rather than later.
It's not about where you start in Rainbow Six, it's about how you finish. And if we start to see this Eagles roster slip up, get sloppy, and see a big momentum switch and get overly aggressive, then I think the Royals could take the high ground and possibly win this one. Bad Karma's doing a great job keeping them scared, and they've been able to collect a frag almost every single round, and that has been great. But the moment that Hollins gets that opening frag, I do see them, unlike a previous round, actually being able to collect onto it. Now Karma potentially feeling a little bit trapped inside a supply, but they should be able to have a free rotate. There's calls going out, and this is a lot of utility usage early round from Hollins High without getting any sort of map control. We've seen them in this scenario before. There's going to be an opening kill for Upskill for Suzuki onto Upskill. Looking for the Jaeger. That's a double kill for this crazy fragging Finka. They're turning this match into an actual closely contended one. From up above is going to be Flixer catching Pizza, not able to confirm the frag. Shrimp is being rung out. The spray going towards the Finka. Suzuki will fall, refragged. That is all the way from Waffles playing long. Man advantage still cooking the way of Hollins, as Natgab as well as the castle upstairs are going to have to go for a rotate down. Waffles going for the plant. Nice, safely secure, planting below the hatch. There's the attempted drop, or the attempted rotate back, and I like that they've flipped the role. They're not going for the same thing as last time. The biggest thing, you need to play together, play for your frags. That's exactly what Banana's going to do. Down goes Natgab, all up to Flixer. They're 6-4. We know they have the fragging potential. Spraying around, trying to find my guy. Can they find the sledge? Spraying for it. They have the UMP. Weiser gun is the worst gun in the game, and it's not going to be able to prove that as different as when it's Hollins High School. The Royals forcing a 4-2 split as they go towards their defending half.
That's a big one. They did it. We said it before how important that round was, and they were able to find it. And 4-2 down, not the worst situation to be in, but they got to get it going, and they got to get it going quick. And that was a semblance of what may be to come, a sign perhaps of what could come. But we do see what Atascocita is doing on this armory. I mean, this lineup, it's quite clear what they want to do. They're going to go straight for that archives plant right on that cement area, and hopefully we'll see if they're ready for it, but only 2 C4 is going to be out. No smokes to really stop the push. Looking like the counters aren't there for Hollins to stop this one, but there's always down to the execution. You still got to win your fights. It's not all
Attackers need
down
to
to the
locate
utility,
and
but
defuse bombs.
that one also is a very tough post plant to win. So we'll see if Hollins can sniff this one out early and find their way to be able to win out this round, because from the way that I see it, they're not very well set up.
And so Hollins has clearly been a learning team throughout this entire match, and they've had to slowly learn as things went on. Now they've had all but one defending round. This is the second defending round that we've seen, as it's been the Eagles who've been on the defense the entirety of the matches, because we did have that blowout in the
5
first
seconds
round.
left.
But that was the other team map pick. They should be better set up on this one. I'm
Attackers'
curious to see
objective is to locate a
exactly
bomb and defuse
what
it.
they pull out and how they plan on doing it. They have to be very quick and prompt about this. You can't be having late reinforcements like this as you place down your final 2, because the players of the Eagles, they're quick and they're ready to respond. It's very scary to me. You can see that they're going to be playing, from what I see, setting up for a post plant, holding from the glass as well as from outside vents towards into office.
And the office area is great, but at the end of the day, that's not a part that you really need on this, as the smokes are now going to go through. Nothing really to stop them, as now the smoke's going to go through.
Bomb
The bomb
located by
starting to
attackers.
go down, maybe not inside of the smokes right there, and the C4 from above ending up allowing for them to be able to do it. That C4 was massive that it was able to connect. Does just that. The bomb
Attackers
now
recover
down
the
in the middle
diffuser.
of the site, and it's going to be really tough, that bomb
Drop
to
the
go
bomb
down,
diffuser.
as Waffles finds the kill. That is the case down once again, but Flixer finding a big kill. Don't even know where he's at. He finds a second
Flixer!
one. A big one. Actually gets himself inside office. A big position for him to be in. I don't know how he has found himself, but this round is flipped entirely on his
Attackers
head
recovered
as
their
he downs another player into the back of the site. Flixer saving this round from the depths as he
Flixer!
find a fourth on for the ace, and he will do it. Flixer putting Atascocita on his back when they need him the most.
A round that started so well for the Royals, denying the plant, denying the rotate out with the case. All from key positioning, rotating around the holes left by Hollins. 1, 2, 3, make it 4, and don't forget about that ace. Flixer showing us how it's done, and on an operator that we've been calling for multiple times inside of this matchup, the Nomad.
Yeah, it was brought out that round, and I don't think it necessarily provided that
It did
utility,
not. I just
but
let the
I'm
Nomad.
happy that they brought it. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. It is.
It was
is
there.
The note that they have the idea of how this map needs to be played, and that's where
Attackers need to
we're
locate and
seeing the
defuse
difference. I don't think it's that Hollins doesn't know how the map's supposed to be played, but we asked for that on practically every single round. Of how it's
I want
played.
to change. I know what you're trying to say. Playing around your opponent rather than knowingly playing around the map. You
Exactly.
can have so many setups, and even while playing comp, I'm like, okay, I have this setup, this setup, this setup with my team. Which of these 3 on this one site do I want to pull out? You always need to play, not to say, oh, well, I think that we're doing a great job playing for our friends, so I'm going to choose this one. You have to take your opponent
10 seconds to
into
insertion.
your entire mentality, and they did. And I want to say Hollins did
5
do
seconds
that
to go.
on their defending round, taking into consideration that they're going to go for a quick plant. But you need to think every single time, what is my opponent going to do? How are they going to play? They are aggressive. They are very comfortable with their frags. They've been taking this entire series very dominantly. You need to expect for them to come from an obscure angle and be very direct. Office is where you look for that play. And by holding office with an obscure angle, a rat angle if you will, that is how you make a difference. And if they drone it out and you clearly see that they're making a move towards that, you calm to your team, and that's when you rotate your attention And that makes the biggest difference. That's how you shut down the Eagles. You make it feel like they can't get in, and when they are trying to go for those obscure direct areas, they have to slow down. You slow them down enough, they play for those final 15 seconds, you will win off time. I guarantee it.
And you make a great point to it. I like to explain Siege sometimes as almost a chess match, right? It's a game of adaptation, and that's actually two players going down in Atascocita, finding that adaptations early on as Flicks are now going down. He has been the person for them, but you're my guy. Going down as Natgav, finding that kill, and a 4v2 now. It's actually not really a situation that we've been familiar with so far in this map. Atascocita haven't really been in the advantage in most of these rounds, but they find ways to really get them back their way, and you got to think when it gets to that point, when they have that advantage, they're going to finish it out. Bad Karma finding the last 2 kills of the round, and Atascocita put themselves onto map point.
This beautiful crosshair placement with a lot of players on Atascocita as they move towards match point. I really like that they have a clear narrative with every single one of their rounds. You go in and you can see, well, one of the favorite exercises that I like to do with my team, and you'll catch a lot of your players stopping thinking, is if you could go and click pause on a VOD. If you're just watching from the replay up above, pause and go, why are you there? What are you doing and why? And if a player can't tell you with a very clear intention, motive, and intended outcome, then they are in a bad position. If they aren't able to properly support their team and they're playing for that crazy 1 in a million, they are not making a good play, and you need to go back to the drawing board and figure that out. And that is showing exactly how every single player can improve. You go back and look at your VODs. You have that replay system you can use now. Back when I was playing this game almost every single day, I didn't have that. I had to go and save my clips and question it myself. Use what you have available, and you can see that with these plays, what am I doing and why? Am I playing for the refrag, or can I be caught out? It's all these questions you need to be asking yourself, and constantly I'm finding myself saying to the Eagles, wow, you're in a really good position. You might not have the refrag, but if you do get killed there and there's someone spotted out, those 2 other players are surely going to play for your refrag, and you have shown that in those clutch scenarios, you're able to communicate with each other and share your knowledge.
It's the clutch situations. It's really all it has been. It's been a difference maker. Atascocita have had that advantage throughout, and I think it's just, again, a testament to their ability to play off of each other. And I don't think Hollins are necessarily that bad off of each other until the end of the round. They don't really play trades all too well when it comes down to the end of it. I think Atascocita are playing around themselves. They know that they have the better gun skill. They've been using that to their advantage. And Hollins, until they maybe recognize that they may not have as good gun skill, they need to account for that. And I think right there, doing just that is Suzuki finally did open pick. The Flicks are getting one back again. 13-6, over double positive, and looking to ice this game up. But unfortunate timing as Pizza finds one instantly traded. Shrimp playing right on the heels of his star entry, finding one back in a 3v3 with 2 minutes left, only a minute in, and we have 4 players hitting the deck.
And those 2 players you lost, Sophia and Nook, are ones you're able to afford losing. You still have the 2 other soft breaches to be used, as well as the hard breach of Shrimp. Banana staring up. DMR in hand. That's going to be a little bit more difficult. You can't just spray towards the hatch. You have to be a little bit more precise. A lot of vertical destruction from Natgav. It's going to be assisted by the fact that the sledge is going to possibly make their way up. And you're my guy. You have to be very careful with these rotates through sight. You don't know what your opponent's watching unless you have someone feeding you the info. Suzuki still playing inside of Beepers, trying to find that really big impact frag skill to take half of their HP all the way away. I'm not sure what that's from, but my guy coming in clear, gonna find a skill. Down on the ground goes the sledge, left up to Shrimp and Natgav. Both these players proving an ability to frag in the past. Can they be assisted by their team and make something happen here today? Natgav looking to fall right down, going for a crazy frag. Drop. Audio cue is there. Moving towards Beepers. Suzuki's been very hot in this matchup. Looking for another one. He'll find it. Down to a 1v3. Down goes Natgav. Shrimp on the ace. AK-12 in hand. Down these stairs, looking towards sight. Gonna try to open up a line of sight. Collect one frag of 3. Needs to get plant down. 30 seconds. Moving around towards vents. 1 kill for the ace. Down goes Bananas. Gonna have to deal with the hot gun of Suzuki. Still over by Customs. Swing towards, will they check the right angle? 15 seconds to go. You wouldn't expect someone to be so clearly off sight. That's exactly it. Suzuki's going to rotate back. 2 guns now pointed your direction.
10 seconds to go.
You have to go for it. You have to make your way into sight. Mossberg in hand. Switch to the SMG-11. Spray from Suzuki. He'll find Shrimp, and Hollins High School stays alive for 1 more round.
And a big one. That's a good crossfire right there, playing well off of each other. I think it was great that Suzuki figured out, and I mean, you said at the beginning of the round, he realized he was not in a position to be able to help his teammate on site. They were about to really be isolated for 2 1v1s if certain angles were checked, and he realized that, came over back to site, played off of his teammate quite well. He may have won the initial 1v1, but even if he loses that, his teammate is going to be there to be able to close out the round, and that's something that Hollins High needs to be able to get themselves into the habit of doing, playing off of each other, the crossfires, the trades. Atascocita did that at the beginning of the round. That's why they were in that position in the 3v3 in the first place, but unable to really build off of the beginning of that round. But that's how Borders played. That's how Sieges played for the most part. You just got to make sure you're playing off of your
Attackers need
teammates,
to
the best
locate
of
and
your abilities,
defuse
and
as many
Hollins
bombs
High
as they can.
right there, the Royals doing just that in that last round.
I said it better myself. Still match point. Hollins is going to have to win 3 more consecutive rounds to even push it to overtime. But this could be the exact change in momentum that they are looking for. If they continue to play together, Suzuki was very proficient on that roam, and they're going to have to continue to be proficient if they want to have any hope of continuing this match. They've been a very impactful frag, and we can't forget to talk about Waffles, Bananas, who have also come up in frags, and My Guy and Pizza. They may be 4 and 7, but when you look at the round differential, they are still carrying their weight. I want to highlight that because, yes, the other team is going crazy. Yes, Hollins has lost some rounds that they should not have lost, but it doesn't change the fact that these players are making a dent. They are doing what they can in every single round, and it's making those little changes that will make the difference.
It's the minor details, and ladies and gentlemen, this map not over quite yet. Hollins are over to a site that they have won. No, they lost the site both times. I remember, I do, and it's still a site that we've seen them do well on for the most part. It's just they need to close it out, and I think as they continue to win rounds, I think they get themselves into more realization of what needs to get done. But I mean, that's going to come down to them winning these early on, as the nade's going to come out. Should miss, and it does. Suzuki with a Thunderbird on the board is going to be able to heal himself right back up. Bananas stays alive as well, but Waffles going for this kill, not able to do it. Natgab actually finding the opportunity to hit towards sight, but not able to win the 1v1. Pizza coming out on top right there. Good recognition. Better from Hollins.
That is comms right there. Now here's the question. Was it told to Karma? Nope, it wasn't. Waffles wins that with a clean headshot. The Vigil roam will continue to reign supreme, as it was most likely that Vigil call that Natgab was bottom metal stairs that rotate up. You have to turn your attention, and being ready for that gunfight makes a really big difference. So now 3v5. We've seen this team come back before, dealing with 2 gunfights. Bananas will go down. Point notifications are often competitive, which means that you're not going to have any notification. Bananas might be able to get a res from a Kona station. The note goes on Steel and Flixer to collect frags of their own. We're down to an even man count. Plant was stopped momentarily. Waffles waiting up above, going to throw an impact nade up, not able to catch anything. 2 of these players have made their way into Armory. Plant being successful. Spray out. Waffles will lose that sight right to the sledge of Obscure. And now, you're all left up to Suzuki and My Guy. Moving around, My Guy to take a lot of damage, playing inside of Archives. They have to make an impact. They have to push up. It's all left onto the back of Suzuki. Not looking good. And there's the swing around from Obscure with a single sliver of HP, as the Atascocita Eagles will take the second map in dominant fashion.
5v3 thrown away again. Hollins, so many man advantages and not able to close out on. And I hope we get to see them really get themselves into the game. At least on border, it was more, they really, it was better, a lot better than Chalet. And it was their map pick, so you would expect that. But it is Villa. Everyone knows how to play it, so I expect to see at least a little bit closer of a map. It is Atascocita's map, so that is to be noted. But I still think it is a map that everyone knows how to play. Hollins starting on the attack. We'll see if they can at least get a couple of rounds, get themselves into a strong defensive split.
Yeah, it's quite crazy that the Eagles get to return to their dominant defensive side once again. But Hollins with their ban, it is going to be the Nook. And you know what? Villa's a really big map, and I can respect that you realize your opponent is going for the massive lurk, and that could be very much a target ban. You're going Mira? I'm going Valkyrie.
Ah! Sorry,
I would have gone Mira, but I know. I would have gone Mira, but I can't be the same as you.
They banned Mira on Chalet, so
I know, but I can't. If one cat, I can't just go. Yes, you're right. If it's bans, I have to choose a conflicting opinion. The same way I'm going to say Souls
or Zombie.
Yes. Oh,
dang! I doubled down and still got it wrong.
Oh, I'm actually hyped. I got that pick. Oh, I went big brain and just started overanalyzing. I still got it. That last map really hit me down. I'm in the dumps when the Capcan ban came out. And I'm like,
big bounce back. It was a big bounce back.
It was. I really needed that. But everyone, this is Villa. This is our third map in the best of three. We have the Eagles leading 2-0. They have the entire chance to win out the HSEL Grand Finals. I feel like that's just something I want to let sink for a second.
Attackers need to locate and defuse
go
as many
into
bombs
what
as they
could be
can.
our final map.
Oh, look at that, national champions, huh?
Just picture it. Atascocita High School Eagles, HSEL Nationals champion. Added to all their names.
Located a bomb.
Nationals champion, HSEL. Nice to meet you. See, that was a good ring.
Sorry, I thought you were gonna go through all 5 of them right there. I was like,
Oh no, I thought you were gonna do the next one.
No. I mean, we could alternate if you want.
Oh, you go ahead.
One by one. Okay, so Obscure.
Left before insertion.
HSEL national champion.
Flixer,
wait,
HSEL
hold on.
national champion.
Are we gonna do all 10? Because we don't want to.
No.
We don't want to.
Attackers
No,
are
let's
This
do it.
is not over. It's not over.
It's not over. The Royals are gonna have to prove themselves to me, or they can start taking.
You're the
these
one
little
who
audio
had the
clips and putting
inspirational
them.
speech. You seem to have belief.
I do. I always have belief. The underdog can make a difference. It takes one of these players to put the team on their back, and that does not mean that they go and have a lot of kills. It is for them to start showing up and turning every single one of these. Rotate right on back to site, and there's going to be a really quick frag onto a different player of Bad Karma, as Pizza is going to shut that one down. They have the Dokubi calls. The Goyo led up to a single sliver of HP. They can still make an influence, but you're going to have the Inox scanner. You see these red footprints. You know they are very, very close. C4 being repped. Goodbye, Goyo. Man advantage once again in the hands of Hollins. But can they keep it? This is the very difficult part. You have a Jaeger that died quite recently. You could go and get that phone. Go and try to use that. Kaid rotating down below. This is where the difference is made in closing out the Eagles' ability to rotate off their own site.
And I mean, it's not something Atascocita hasn't done before, especially Bad Karma. I was going to note it a little bit earlier. It's not the first time he has given a pick back early on, and it's something that he's been doing, and they put themselves in a hard spot after already getting the man advantage. They did the hard part early on as Flixer finds the first kill, gets that big one back. Suzuki maybe not timing the push all too well as the Goyo canisters now going to start proving their worth and delaying that push as much as possible. Main thing, Flixer does not have a C4 to work with. However, what he does have is the controller step.
20 seconds, droned out. Skill inside of Vault, playing around the door. Slowly starting to move their way up. Study flicks are going to get a little bit aggressive. You have to be careful. Since the zombie gate is up, it might give away your position if you rotate up just a little bit too far, giving your opponent that extra little time that they need to flick. There's Obscure with a kill onto Waffles, even things out 2-2. Flicks are still sitting in an obscure position, getting ready to flick right on in. Spring towards, not able to see their guy. My guy is now no longer able to push in. He's going to have to go in through the destructible wall as they are so lit up. Obscure now to fall to Pizza, spraying right on in. Flicks are stuck top of main stairs. 10 seconds to go. Pizza's now going to go for the plant. Playing inside of games. They're going to be vulnerable to this peak, but they're looking in the wrong spot. Plant successful. Push in now from Study. Spraying. Guns a-blazing. Looking for this first frag. Flash, not going to catch them. Sprays into Vault. Finds the first kill onto Pizza. My guy, single sliver of HP. Has a nade in hand. Can use it if they need. Flixer has no way of knowing where this sledge is. They're going to jump up on the box. Spray! Triple kill for Flixer! As the Eagles go up 1-0.
Flixer coming out quick again, and kind of actually made the mistake. He allowed his teammate to die. His kind of responsibility was watching that skull door and making sure that Aviator was not breached by the attackers, and he kind of falls off that angle when they realized that a player had pushed up the Books hallway, gave away a pick to his teammate, and was able to win out the round, but kind of making a mistake right there, but being able to bring it back. Atascocita, a big one on that first round. And again, similar story. It just, you can't say it enough. And to a point, Hollins, I don't know how specifically they can change it, whether that's slowing it down, making sure they're playing close to each other, but this can't keep happening.
As many bombs as they can.
It's hard to see them lose these rounds, and it's just from those little single gunfights. We're not losing hope though. I'll never call a series over before it's over, because comebacks are one of the best parts about these games. And you see a team slowly start to mount it up and continue to ramp towards that victory, or even those the ones that get shut down midway through.
10 seconds remaining.
They're brutal in their own regard. The Eagles have done a very good job, a commanding lead in this series. In every single round, they command your attention just from their ability to rotate around each and every single bomb site and to know their player, know the operator.
In position.
And I think bringing the IQ out, maybe not the best, just because the Valk is on the board, but maybe not playing that information early enough to realize that there wasn't a Valk. So the IQ, I'm happy they brought it. You know, it's good that they did bring it, but maybe not completely necessary thus far. I'm sure that they have an idea that this player is over here, and that's not the player that's over here. Flixer getting taken down, the one, the star, the hero from that first round, but ends up getting taken down quite early on. A good pick for them to be able to get him. Bad karma now. The early aggression not serving him well on this map thus far.
Working to get on into Study.
active! Sweeping perimeter!
Bananas, we have to spot everything out. Shrimp now getting a call, and it's the worst time possible. Going to use the mute jammer to deny that. Or no, sorry, not a mute jammer, just the time to not have to deal with that any longer. Yeah, I am very happy with Hollins opening to this round. That's 2 clean frags. But they have to continue working with it. And I can see Waffles that they just sit here, wait for your pick. You don't need to push up, wait for an impact from another of the players, bring it from stairs. Shrimp going to take one, sees the tracers from down hallway. Good job with the finger boost. Suzuki ready to assist their team. Nat Gav's position also notified downstairs. This is where you need to see Waffles assisting their team, trying to rotate for it, working up from stairs. Shrimp will now go down. Double kill from Bananas. Waffles able to find one. Down to a 1v5. Skill stuck inside a trophy. Sprays. Will they get the flawless round? Nope, that's shut down by Skill as they find Bananas. They're going to have to find another one as Plant is now attempted. Suzuki with the final frag, and that is a perfect example for the Royals of not giving up that man advantage on the cusp of a flawless round.
a much better round for Hollins off the back of those 2 early picks and able to make sure they don't give away any silly ones. They're able to play with each other, find the kills in the middle of the round. So play yourself in Siege, and anyone at home watching this game, playing this game, when you have a man advantage, that the other team has to get aggressive to get one of those picks back, and recognizing that to full effect and realizing that, hey, Atascocita, they have to get aggressive here. They realize what's happening. They realize what's going on. They find the kills, put themselves in a 5v1, and that one is an unthrowable one. No way they could lose that one. Now tied 1-1. I think this is the earliest they've won a round in a map thus far, so that's definitely a much better and more positive position to be in than we've seen on our first two maps.
Looking towards the setup, really tempting. And, I see the Eagles learning from their mistakes in the previous round. Not going to see some crazy goes up. And have we talked about this captain yet?
That we have.
It's finally not banned. I think we might have a chance to see why
5 seconds to go.
why teams are banning captain when they go against the Eagles. I'm very interested to see this in a discrete spawn peak. I do like this.
I'm more excited to see this in the Cav.
Really? Honestly, yeah. The Cav is like, Cav. Capcan, you can see what exactly they're gonna do. Does this get spotted? Waffles, waffles, waffles.
And this is a counter ban, Like this is we're finally seeing it.
Yeah, very close to see, and I like that he kept one E1D in his pocket because it basically allowed them to know where they're coming from and try to use that. Now it's a question of how proficient is the drone work of Hollins going to be to spot out these EE1Ds, because that little chip damage can make a really big difference in the long run if you only can nail 2 shots into your opponents before they go down, rather than that 3 or 4.
Well, in the case of the Dokkaebi, that's just 1 bullet.
Won't even matter. First kill is going to go the way of the Echo using the amplified scope, trying to find a second, as Bananas was once again the first to fall. Knockout able to find Waffles as they push up. That Karma will go down as these players are slowly evaporating. Suzuki taking some damage from a Goyo canister. They're going to have to forcibly rotate right on back. Flash being cooked out, gonna end up blinding themselves, but this push down the corridor is slowly coming to fruition. Blinded from behind, refrag. That is the best case scenario for Hollins High. Still trying to work past this study. They haven't been able to make it nearly as far. The Yokai drone will now stun. No audio to know where your opponent is coming from. Strength for study. You're gonna have one. Sprays finds it, but nope, there's the reattempt from Flixers. They made their way up from study after getting that Yokai blast. You know that you had someone watching the drone as well. Great job, great communication from the Eagles, and that will allow them to maintain the lead 2-1.
Oh, gunfights, ton of them, and I don't think they have yet to recognize that they are not the superior team when it comes to gun skill. Hollins is outgunned by Atascocita, and they're continuing to take these 1v1s and try and press the pace and maybe force that play style to an extent, and maybe that's worked for them so far, but their lack of adjustment to that fact is why they found themselves in this hole in the first place. And not every round has gone that specific way, but that round in particular, that is kind of what they fell into. And as long as they can make sure they minimize the 1v1s that they're taking in the 50-50 gunfights, they should be all right on this map. But they have to make sure that they're playing together.
They really do, and going towards this study site, it's now the second time we get to see where the Eagles going. Here, the best part about Villa is the adaptation. And I keep going back to this adaptation point because I think it's really clear for Villa, because you have a lot of different ways to attack a site. I want to see a 90 repel, or at least that 90 window broken. I want to feel like Hollins is not pressuring from every single angle, but they're giving the false perception that they are going for a large amount of roaming presence. So we'll see exactly how that will happen. Biggest thing, Ella from Bad Karma. I think they might be running the shotgun or just a pistol currently, but that's a pick that I have not seen in a very long time.
bomb has been located.
Drone is ready.
Push still continuing from Hollins, not able to have any damage done to their opponents as Ella not able to make anything happen in that scenario. I'm sorry for cutting you off there.
No, it's okay. It was a silly tech error on my end. It's okay though. Well, yeah, she has that shield. Nothing too crazy. And the pistol now in hand. They have that information.
Ooh.
And my guy finding the kill again.
I like that. I
advantage
really like that.
Established for Hollins. It just comes down to them finishing this one out and going 2-2 on attack on Villa, which is not your map pick. Not that bad, especially when you have Valk and Azami on the board. Shocked, by the way, that those two operators haven't been brought really out, but Metcalf coming back again and at least putting themselves on evil playing ground.
Slowly, Obscure trying to go for the flank. Are they going to find it? Yes, they will. Down goes Waffles. No more Jackal. No more tracking that roam. Meanwhile, that's going to be a refrag from Bananas. They've made their way onto site. They have to wait for the support of You're My Guy. Meanwhile, Flixer finds Bananas from down below. That's going to be the flank. Triple kill for You're My Guy. There's no audio there for Natgav to work with. Flixer now turning their way towards site. They know where the final player is. They're going to have to spray. Sledge versus Jaeger. The distance seems like it could favor Jaeger with this carbine, but will they find the head lit up to a single sliver of HP? That's a round win for Hollins. Even things out 2-2. Way to win that for the Sledge. And this one looks like it's going to be the closest we've seen in a long while.
Again, a big round for them to win. They almost threw it. They almost threw it away, but able to close out the round. And now we're going to see the pulse coming through. Dining kitchen, you typically see that. The IQ is brought out. They now know that is exactly what's going on. The IQ is going to provide some value to that extent. I mean, that attack lineup as well, I like it a lot. You have the Dokkaebi, you have the Jackal, things that'll help you with that information to be able to get those kills. And maybe even allow yourself to keep the man advantage. I like bringing the Dokkaebi in situations like that because you can kind of have that position where it's like, all right, we just, like, maybe not have the Dokkaebi to find those opening kills, but have the Dokkaebi be like, all right, we just killed one. We know there's going to be a player close. Have a call. We can see where the next players are going to be coming from. We can hear them come from a mile away. And I like that coming out with the Dokkaebi. I hope that's how they decide to play with the Dokkaebi on the board, but hey, you never know.
10 seconds to insertion.
Believe it or not, this is one of my favorite sites in all of Rainbow Six Siege. This shows what I think is very well balanced, where you have a countless number of options to push as an attacker and countless number of ways to defend. And you have the basement that can be used for rotation purposes, or you have upstairs if you want to go for an extension and stop any sort of vertical play, which is very destructible. Not to mention the fact that you also have these teams working towards an exact clear. You get that plan down and the roles do completely get swapped, but it all comes down to how you clear. Natgav getting that opening frag is quite huge, as Bananas has been very important. That IQ looking down to shoot out the pulse, that's going to make that heartbeat sensor that much more broken. Looking for a second.
And Suzuki's kind of stepped it up, having a really slow map one, and god dang it.
You cursed him! You cursed him!
Dang it! I was going to say a much slower map one, but able to really bring it back over on maps 2 and 3. A nice little surprise, a positive for them as that Karma just barely staying alive, and Pete's actually finding a huge pick right there, and my guy needs to start moving forward to try and get this kill, but Bad Karma finds one Flixer with the pulse, finding the free kill with the C4, just staying still for a little too long, and Atascocita put themselves back into the lead. And for them, to be honest, they kind of need to win this round if they want to feel very, very confident going into their attack split.
Time slowly ticking away. Capcan being reselected as our final round in this half is going to be going back to Aviator Games. And I've been happy with Hollins' performance on that site. What we need to continue seeing is that they split it up. That split push from before, making it so the Eagles were not able to be comfortable in knowing the positions of their
Attackers need to
opponent,
locate and defuse
really
the bomb.
allowed for that clutch from You're My Guy. But we can't still expect for them to show up completely huge in this round. They need to be assisted by their team. One thing I need to see is Bananas is properly droned in, or they're assisted where they continue to get that
Attackers
replay if they
discovered the
are going to
location
use
of a
that
bomb.
operator. You have to assist your team with full information, knowing that the Eagles love to be aggressive early round to collect on that pick. That's what you need to capitalize on right now.
10 seconds to insertion.
Captain back out. Different hands this time. Flixer's hands. Not bad karma. Flixer's kind of been the hot hand up to this point so far, and see if he's the reason that that operator was banned. Haven't really utilized it all too much, and the one round that they did kind of did a little bit of damage. So we'll see. I'm shocked they didn't bring it as much, but at least they're bringing it now.
Yeah, they are. They're giving us a matchup, and I commend Holland very much for it. This could be their match if they continue to ramp up that continuous slow acceleration. The Eagles have to put out the fire before it turns into something uncontrollable, and Matt Gav is going to do a good job of that, getting that opening frag that I talked about just moments ago, and continuing to use it. Meanwhile, Matt Gav still holding the very long angle. Matt Gav able to collect onto a second one. Down goes Bananas. And very hard to see. They have to keep slowly playing. Pizza taking damage now. It appears that the Eagles have put out the fire that Hollins started to try to make. But you still those embers. You have to reheat. You have to continue to push through this round. 3 to 5, that just means that 2 people need to get more than their 1. Getting ready for a potential run out is Bad Karma. Nakav able to collect a third on the round, taking out Suzuki, a player who has felt very consistent throughout this series. He's now swinging, going to do some damage to Bad Karma. Now the player with the ACOG is going to be staring down the barrel towards the hot gun this round, which has been Natgav. Pizza taking half their health and damage as they have not been able to turn their way towards a site. As an IGL, you have to call. It's not worth it to keep pushing from bedroom because we have Natgav to contend with, who will collect 4, hunting for this ace. Where are they? Do they have any information? They did hear something from 90, but now since You're My Guy has made their way up towards back hallway.
Defender is
Towards
exposed.
Astro Stairs. Natgav out on the hunt in the wrong side of the map. This will prompt My Guy to work his way up Astro. Slowly looking for an impact frag. Nope, not going to happen. Bad Karma will be able to steal the frag away from his teammate, but ensure a flawless round for the Eagles, dominating the half 4-2. But I say dominating, that's a good split for Hollins. They got their 2 rounds as they go towards defense. And if they are properly able to control this map, we could see something very special.
We can, and a 4-2, not the worst split. I mean, it's kind of a good spot for them to be in. At least it was on the worst side that they lost 4-2. You know, on Border, it was they lost 4-2 on their better side, and now they're going into the strong side, only down 2. So, not the worst position to be in, and I think this first round is really going to show us what kind of team we're going to see, as we do see the Izami coming out, a very powerful
Attackers need to
operator
locate
on
and
the
defuse
map
as
of
many
Villa.
bombs
We'll
as they
see
can.
if that heavily influences the way that this is going to be played.
First time in this series we're
Attackers
actually
have
seeing
located
Ash
the
come
bomb.
out to play. I feel like that's something that I feels very different from old Siege metas, the lack of Ash. Must be a change for the better. Andrew, do you have any favorite sort of operators that you'd like to see
10 seconds
on
remaining.
a Plains and Games for both offense and attack that we haven't seen thus far?
5 seconds left before
Maybe a
insertion.
Mira. Azami
Not-
isn't
they're,
as powerful.
they're banned. They're banned.
Attackers are
Well, I
proceeding
just meant in
to defuse the
general. You
bomb.
said in
I
general.
know. I wasn't specific. I did
Said that
that
we
to
haven't
myself.
seen.
I set myself up for disappointment.
Initiate
It's okay.
But I'm curious.
It's
Like,
Azami. Yes. Flores, perhaps, even though he's also banned. I don't know, man. Like all the ones I like seeing on this site are all banned.
yeah,
I guess
they're the interesting ones. The souls would be great to see on this map, on this site. Not possible. Potentially some, like, any way to extend the roam would be very good, but that will not be the case. Slowly pushing right back out. This is a really creeping barrage type of push from the Eagles, as they won't be able to collect the first frag. Natgav will fall, and will that break the line is what we'd like to see. Good stim from the dock. All that damage will not have as much of an impact, but that's why you can shoot them in the head to make sure that they will definitely go down. Shrimp will be the one to send You're My Guy to their untimely grave, and from down below, doing some damage to Pizza, looking to have a good impact. Waffles rotating down, gonna have to contend with this Ash, but careful, you are a 3 armor. You're gonna do make a lot of noise. They are clearly going for the C4. Bad Karma narrowly missing out the Kaid on their push. C4 will not do any damage. Running right on back, catches the Ash, looking the wrong way, but they've made their way right up the stairs. This could be a very interesting situation. Suzuki finds Shrimp as the push from the Eagles is slowly fading away, spraying on into sight. Karma not able to find it from the spray from Shrimp. And Flixer able to find Suzuki. This round's quickly turning his head. Pizza to find Upskill as this creep around the site has not worked exactly as intended. Double kill for Flixer. We've seen them do this before. They have to find Waffles and Pizza. Pizza having the superior rifle for this one. Brings around, finds the Kaid 1v1. Flixer feeling unstoppable. 2 deaths in this entire game. Looking to find this fourth frag. That's taking a little bit of damage. Where from? How do you play for
Attackers have recovered their
Reload from Pizza. They now know the location. Crosshair placement from Flicker has been impeccable this entire game. Does it change? No, it does not. Flixer wins that one out. A close round stolen away from Hollins.
So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not. No words are gonna come out of my mouth. I'm just gonna talk filler until the next round starts and pretend I did not see what I saw. So
You're gonna need to fill now.
No.
This pause.
It's okay. I can fill for longer. It's doable. You know what? I'll say it. No. I'll do it. They did it again.
Do you know why? They did a good job of having it earlier. They had the crossfire. And that's how they were able to take out the Ash that creeped on up too far. And that is my biggest concern. That if these players don't play the crossfire, you keep allowing for that 3 separate 1v1s to be played, possibly 4, because I know they have the 4K. I don't know how that first kill happened precisely. If you give them 1v1v1, Flixer does not miss their shots. They are ready and they are aimed right at your head. They have a really good crosshair placement. So that's what I'm looking for. You have 2 players alive. Reposition. If you die on that reposition, I'm sorry, that's better than you standing there and having a stagnant gunfight that you have a chance at winning. You need to stack the odds in your favor, which Hollins has not been able to do once again. And it's easy for us to talk where I'm sitting very comfortably in my room and I don't have sweaty hands. My mouse has not been touched for the last 5 minutes because I don't need to worry about those stressful decisions. I have the overhead view as an IGL. And I keep going back to the as an IGL because it falls on to them. Not just them. The team has to pick it up. You need to call for how you want your team to play. All right. Last one is Flixer playing on blank. Rotate here or you can rotate here. Give them options. Don't tell them how to play. Tell them the options that they have to make a good play so they can play together. That comes down to practice, and that comes down to experience. And that's not to say you can't get anywhere without practicing it.
Defenders, protect your bombs.
It's
from
just one of
being
those little
defused by
things. And
attackers.
thank you for coming to my TED Talk rant, because I was happy with a lot of things that happened for Hollins in that round. But the Eagles showing a lot of superiority in isolating gunfight. Anything to add, Joe?
Not really.
If you want to
I-
correct me on
Located
anything,
by
you can
attackers.
feel free.
I just think it's not necessarily the isolating gunfights, because I think, like you said, you can get caught out repositioning. I think the main thing is it's more like damage control. You need to put yourself in the
10
best
seconds
position
remaining.
possible, like, to get better gunfights. If you are
5 seconds
stuck and you know you can't rotate into a good spot to help your teammate,
Attackers
you
are
have to
heading
try and
out
find
to
a
defuse
way
the bomb.
to make it a better gunfight for you. You can't just take a silly gunfight. Like you said, a stagnant gunfight. There are ways you can do that, but it's just it's kind of been an issue for the most part, as the Cav now coming out once again, and we saw what happened the last time they had it. It was the last round on Chalet, and didn't really work out all too well for them. And hopefully this isn't Hollins putting their bellies up and accepting defeat, because this game hasn't been over. But it's the same story as Border. They could easily be up 5-2 themselves if they win a couple of those 1v1s and clutches. They gave up a 5v3 right there. They gave up another one, and then again losing a 1v1 earlier on, and they just haven't been able to close. And I don't know how many different ways I can say it, and it's just how it is. If they could just close these rounds out, they could easily be looking to go up 2-1 on maps, but instead haven't been able to do it.
Clear shield on the ground.
And setup is flank properly being watched. We have Skill on the cams, and they're about to spot out this Cav. And there it is, spotted out. Yellow ping. Let's see what happens, as Cav has been very obviously spotted.
I'm calling a
3
meeting.
guns turning their way. And there's the call, forcing the rotate back. That is your
Why would they
best
do that?
call, my guy. I don't know either. That seemed like a very bad idea as well.
All they had to do
able
was
to take
swing
out by
'em.
Karma. Yeah, you swing that. You have a pistol you're going against. Not a good play for the Eagles. Get your gun up and use it. As we're going to have Flixer doing exactly that. Down goes Waffles. Even man count, 4-4. Flixer, 13-2. Absolutely crazy showing from the OSA, but the problem is they are now on their own down below, pushing right on up, trying to find it. They're going to catch the flank.
Bomb diffuser
Down goes
has
the
been
ace.
dropped.
No chance for the interrogation there. Great play from the Kavera to play around, and all left up to Obskeel and Natgav, as Flixer has fallen.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
Haste recovered. Obskeel slowly starting to make their way into study. And they're going to have to burn out each of these Rooney Shoria gates. 35 seconds, plant being attempted. You're my guy, still on that lurk. They made their way up to main stairs, and
Attackers dropped
the
the
spray out from
diffuser.
Suzuki. Pisa able to collect onto Natgav. I don't see why Skill has not been able to push in. Maybe they'll reposition, holding from study. 20 seconds to go. They're going to have to get plant or go for a case, as this looks like it should very clearly
15
be the
seconds
round
remaining.
going towards Hollins. Hunting for the Kavera. Won't be able to catch it. There's a second kill for my guy, as they've been playing on that lurk. And do you know what that entire round comes down to, Joe?
The Cav? I don't know.
Closing out the Cav when you had their position.
Ah, yes. See, I'm right.
You were very much right, and you called it early in the round, but I want to circle back to it.
Yeah, I like that. And you want it so crazy? I think for the first time in this entire series, Atascocita is the one who threw. That was such a winnable round in
Yeah.
so many different ways, practically making a mistake in each of the 3 phases of the round, whether that's
Attackers
the
need to
beginning of the
locate and
round
defuse
with
as many
the
bombs as they
Cav, the
can.
mid-round by not catching out the flank, and the end of the round when they could have stuck that flank and ended up not.
Down and on the run. Lift active.
Alrighty. Let's see exactly what happens in this scenario. I want to see. Phew. I'm a little bit perplexed. I don't like
10 seconds
consecutive. I'm okay with the obscure cav pick. The consecutive,
5 seconds
I don't
left
count on the
before
Eagles making a mistake on catching the Caveira out multiple times. Waffles
Attackers'
going
objective
for
is to
something
locate a
very
bomb and defuse it.
Eagle-like to
Attackers
go
drop the
for
diffuser.
the spawn peak. Not going to be able to
Attackers have recovered
capture
their
any
diffuser.
of the attackers, however. I don't know what to make of this one. Never mind, I know what to make of this one.
It's one that he set up earlier in the game, and they haven't necessarily seen it quite yet. So, figured he'd keep trying it, see if he'd get a pick. Because it's like, when you go for a spawn peek, it's like, has anyone tried this spawn peek quite yet?
Swapping mags!
And they hadn't gone for it yet. So, of course, finding the free pick on the ability is NatGav finally killing that Cav, doing a good job getting him out. And they do know that Waffles is still around here. They just don't have the information. It looks like they may not even be going to clear him out in the first place.
Waffles spots out another unexpected player. There's the refrag from Bad Karma. 3-3. I'm not going to
Attackers
say
have
any
located a
pivotal
bomb.
mistakes made by the Eagles in this round or from Hollins. They played a good trade game. The only thing could come down to my guy down in the basement. But that's how you play Cab. You have to try to hide out for the first bit. There's Karma to collect the second using that finger boost to great effect. There's a triple kill for Karma. Down goes Bananas. All of them to Pizza. Able to find one. Down goes some skill. Spraying out. Karma's down to a sliver of HP. They're going to try to use this boost as soon as they can, but shrimp through the wall. Use the calm. The information to an Atascocita on match point, series point, and to win the HSEL National Championship.
Right on the doorstep, and that was such unfortunate timing for Gav. Like, just he was looking that way towards jail the whole time, and right as he would have been able to see it, he looks the other way. So unfortunate. As the Cav now being brought out again.
Why?
After not working.
You're looking for the highlight play. You can't play for the highlight right now. You need to play for the team, and that's
Attackers
unfortunately
need to locate and defuse
not what a
bombs.
Cav pick does.
Especially with how the info was earlier on, to be able to scope him out, not just once, but both times. They just weren't able to convert on that information the first time. Second round, not making that same mistake again. And to this point, I'm not thinking it's going to be too different.
Bomb located by attackers.
What could be our final round in this entire Nationals Championship? Will the Nerds get to the
10
Eagles?
seconds left.
Or can they all continue their
5 seconds
fragging
remaining.
rampage? Will Hollins rise to the task at hand?
Attackers are moving to defuse a bomb.
Action phase
Attackers have dropped the
finally
bomb
cooks
diffuser.
out.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
We could be naming a champion by the end of this round.
Good. We could be. We could very well be, and I think that's just going to be down to really, in my opinion, the opening kill. And maybe not necessarily the opening kill, but the opening engagements, because I think Hollins is playing extended in numerous places, so they may win the entry battle in one of those places that they choose to extend in, but maybe lose it out on the other, and it's all of a sudden we're down in a 4v4 and in a very similar position as you see you and my guy down in the bottom of main stairs, while they also have a player up in Astro. So, pushing up that bathroom area. So with those two areas, it really just depends on if they can win them. As like Flicks are finding the first, Gab finding the second, and they're just walking straight into sight. Pizza not able to do it, and it's a 5v2. It's all down to the Cav and the Mozzie. Maybe shaky a little bit on the shots,
Attackers
feeling the
activating.
pressure as they know they have to walk right in. Waffles down to him, but Flixer has been the man for them, and he will be the man to crown Atascocita champions of the HSEL Nationals.
Flicks are earning that MVP in dominant fashion as your champion.